every inch of earth and sky. God, you are. Every morning, God, you are. Every midnight, God, you are. Every moment, every second of my life. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything below, everything above, everything I know is you. 'Cause you are the very breath I breathe, and your perfect love created me. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. God, you are. God, you are. God, you are. God, you are. Only love can make a memory. Only love can make a moment last. You were there, and all the world was young, and all its songs unsung. And I remember you when love was all you were living for. And how you gave that love to me. Only then I felt my heart was free. I was a part of you, and you were all of me. The days and the hours of those years, painted in colors to outshine the sun. All of the worlds and the dreams and the tears live in my remembrance. Only love can make a memory. Only love can make a moment last. Life was new, there was a rage to live, each day a page to live. And I remember you then, when love was all we were living for, and how you gave that love to me. Only then I felt my heart was free. I was a part of you, and you were all of me. Life was new, there was a rage to leave, another page to leave. And we remembered life then, when love was all we were living for, and how you gave that love to me. Only then I knew my heart was free. I am a part of you, and you are part of me. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Good morning and welcome to Unity of Palm Harbor. Thank you, Joy. That was just lovely. Just a wonderful way to set the tone, set the mood. You know, sometimes we have announcements up here that we are remembering people that have passed on. And today we have the opportunity to share a new life that's entered the world. One of our ushers, Denise Carr, is in the Jacksonville, St. Augustine area, welcoming, I believe, her 4th grandbaby in the world. So we say hello to Liliana Sophia, born 5 pounds, 10 ounces, just as 10/08/22 dawned. So mommy and baby and grandma and family are doing absolutely fabulous. And I had a little picture and she's just gorgeous. So we welcome in the new life to the universe. And we know that the right and perfect people are in her life, loving her, guiding her, and teaching her. So with that, let's open up in prayer. Let's just take this moment and take a breath in. Let us seep into the wholeness of the allness. Let us recognize the Spirit of the Christ indwelling. Our hearts are open. Our minds are open. We are ready. We are expectant. We come into this universal flow knowing that each and every one of us are divinely purposed. That as we open our minds and our hearts, we are guided to exactly what we are meant to do. And we are sharing this incredible journey with each other. Living fully. Taking those deep breaths in when we need to center and focus. And allowing that inner guide that we call the God guide to shine through each and every one of us. That as we are walking this path, we are holding the hand of each other. That we are supporting one another, loving one another through the hard times and the good times, the celebration of the new life and the celebration of lives well lived. And with this, in deep gratitude, we say thank you, Spirit, for all that we come into contact with everyone we meet and we greet, and even those who give us an opportunity to learn. We say, thank you, God. Thank you, God. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. So recently I've shared with all of y'all that by the end of October, we're going to discontinue live streaming. We're going to record the service, we're going to edit the service, and maybe put out a little bit better version than when we just did a live stream. So I'm welcoming everybody online to come home. Come home. We want to see your faces. We want to share the seats with you. We want to share our fall groups with you, our ministries with you. We want to share our prayer chaplains with you. We're inviting you to come back into the building. And if you don't feel really comfortable sitting close to people, that's okay. We got windows. You can put chairs in between. We don't bite. We love. We love. So we are welcoming you back in. And by the end of October, that will be our last live streaming service. We will record and we will put back out there, but it might be Sunday night or Monday before you're able to view it. So with that said, we have a very special service today. It's not often that we get to welcome new members, and this one in particular is a very special situation. So I'm going to invite Judith to bring Shabnam up to the front. Oh, and Kimmon's coming too. So as I share a little bit about you with everybody, you'll understand the significance of Judith and Kimmon, who leads our prayer chaplains, to be a part of this ceremony. We say, where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst. Today we have a special membership presentation of one person who came here just a short time ago and heard Kimmon inviting all of us to examine our hearts and see if we were ready to take the plunge and deepen our prayer life by becoming a prayer chaplain. Shabnam heard the call, and within her came a resounding yes. She didn't even quite know what she might be signing up for. Kimmon has met with Shabnam. I have met with her several times, and I think you are going to feel her warmth and her sincerity as you get to know her. She already has a servant's heart. She is a nurse by education and training, and recently received her certification as a grief counselor with many years in hospice care. She's going to hold office hours for individuals and groups in my office on Fridays and sometimes Saturdays. And we're going to put this in action before the end of the month. So watch our newsletter and our announcements for details. This is an area that I have been in deep prayer work around, asking, is it mine to do? And I wasn't getting a resounding yes. And then Shabnam came in the doors, and that was our yes. I am very grateful you answered that call. So there are very few reasons why you must be a member of Unity of Palm Harbor. We like to be inclusive of all people. However, you must be a member to vote at the annual meeting, to serve on the board, and to become a prayer chaplain. Shabnam has received the call to serve, and here we are in front of you today as she makes this deeper commitment. For Unity membership, there are no requirements other than a desire to know God and to actively participate in the spiritual evolvement of our souls. We offer no prescribed doctrine or creed other than to seek the truth and to follow the only commandments Jesus gave us, which is, thou shalt love thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind and with all thy strength. And thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Luke 12:30-31. We unite so that we may have a place to work together, a community in which to commit so that we may help one another in prayers, in thoughts, in spiritual powers. For in this manner we strive to be a force for good. In our unity of purpose and as dedicated students of truth, believing that the revealment of truth comes from our time in the silence with the source of our understanding, we build this sacred community. We behold the Christ consciousness, the embodiment of all divine ideas, eternally in the mind of God as the living principle working in each one of us as our true expression of the divine nature. Unity means oneness. We create this unity by bringing with us our various backgrounds to blend together as one family. Our sacred community, Unity of Palm Harbor. Shabnam, I only have one question for you. And if you agree, please answer in the affirmative, I do. Is it of your own free will a desire to know God and to actively participate in the spiritual evolvement of your own soul? I am going to ask that maybe Kimmin will present her one of the books the prayer chaplains have been using, How to Pray Without Talking to God. This is written by Reverend Linda Matilla Whitsett. She's the Vice President of Silent Unity. Kimmin? And Judith, I'm going to ask you, if you would, to present these flowers, the gift of life, the gift of color, the gift of diversity, and knowing as each flower is handed to her, it is with our sincere dedication, love, and commitment to you.
And these were arranged by Linda.
And Linda Potts arranged these flowers.
So welcome, welcome.
As Senior Minister of Unity of Palm Harbor, it is my privilege and my honor, on behalf of this sacred community, to receive you into the full and active membership of this family. Hold your applause. I'm going to ask for a song, and if you'll stay standing, and then we'll welcome her in with a prayer.
Sky, I have heard my people cry, all who dwell in dark within, my hand will save. I who made the stars of night, I will make their darkness bright.
So if you will, stand with me and rub your hands together. We are going to bless Shabnam as our most recent new member. And with this, we say, we bless you. We appreciate you.
We appreciate
and
you.
we behold the Christ in you.
And we behold the Christ Christ in you.
And we now present you as our new member.
We have a special guest musician this morning joining us on our congregation song. Some of you may already know it, and so I invite you to stand if you're able and join us in Always Look on the Bright Side of Life.
Good morning, brothers and sisters.
Good morning.
And all of you out there in Webby World. Last week we had a great musician here. We had David, our classically trained baritone, and he offered a congregational song that was beautiful. Unfortunately, nobody knew that. And you didn't really get a chance to sing. Well, we're fixing that this morning. We have a song for you. It's got very little in the way of lyrics to worry about, and it's a happy song. In fact, I defy anybody to sing this song all the way through without smiling.
Yeah, and JM is playing it on his ukajo.
She made that up. It's a banjo ukulele. She
It's
made
a
that word up.
banjolele,
Banjolele.
but I like to call it a ukajo.
So here's Eric Idle's song for you. Some things in life are bad. They can really make you sad. Other things just make you swear and curse. When you're chewing on life's gristle, don't grumble, give a whistle. And this will help things turn out for the best. And always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the light side of life. If life seems jolly rotten, there is something you've forgotten, and that's to laugh and smile and dance and sing. When you're feeling in the dumps, don't be silly chumps. Just pucker your lips and lips, well that's the sing. And always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the light side of life. For life is quite absurd, and that's the final word. You must always face the curtain with a bow. Forget about your sin, let the audience a grin. Enjoy it, it's your last chance anyhow. And always look on the bright side of death. Just before you draw your terminal breath. Life is not much fun when you're on your final run. Life's a laugh and that's a joke, it's true. You'll see it's all a show. Keep 'em laughing as you go. Just remember that the last laugh is on you. And always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the light side of life. Always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the right side of life.
Yeah.
And now we would like to introduce JM as our platform speaker today.
Welcome to Unity Church of Palm Harbor, home of the free-range church service. Reverend Tracey speaks this morning. Her lesson is going to be about life. And as I reflect on life and the good old days, the best things about the good old days was that I wasn't good and I wasn't old. Anyway, today's flowers were done by Kim and Mitchell. Oh, I'm sorry. It says KM out there on the sheet. But anyway, thank you, Linda, for doing the flowers. And they are still available, I believe. There wasn't anyone signed up. So if you'd like to brighten someone's day, give these beautiful autumn-colored flowers to someone for just $40 if you'll pay at the bookstore. Now, Kim is also subbing as prayer chaplain this morning. So she's going to be here to support you in confidential prayer by the stained glass windows up front here after the service. Please leave the sanctuary promptly after service so folks requesting prayer can hear our chaplains when they pray with them. Today's daily word will be read by Tony Klein. And our ushers today are Bob Sachs and Tony Klein. Musicians are Joy Katzenguthrie, Jane Talbot, and very briefly myself. And the guys that make it all the magic happen back there, the audiovisual team, Bob Earhart, Ryan Mills, Mark Blair, and Bob Filbert. Now today, the big red bus is here. And they want your blood. Seriously, we're having a blood drive. Also, 10% of today's giving will be donated to One Blood. That's the company that runs the big red buses. When Reverend Tracey asked if we were helping folks in Southwest Florida, their representative told her that the Fort Myers, Cape Coral, and Port Charlotte operations of One Blood are still closed down. So they will help to keep the various hospitals' blood supply up until they are all back up and running. Please know that each blood donation you make saves up to 3 lives. So how do we help Southwest Florida? Please pay attention to our newsletter called the Palm Harbor Pulse that comes in your email on Wednesdays. If you don't get it, sign up in the foyer by the door on the right side when exiting. We are donating. This week we sent money to Unity of Venice, Mercy Chefs, which is feeding Fort Myers over 60,000 meals so far, and Wings of Rescue for the animals. I have Patrick and Ellie who are coming up to talk to you now in a little more detail about what efforts we're making.
Jam, can you hear me all right? Okay. So last week at the end of the service, after knowing that we had been spared in our area the effects of Hurricane Ian, just a little raking of small branches in my case, Ellie and I were out looking where the building used to be and noticing that, and I learned a new word that Reverend Tracey taught me. I was voluntold to help us to coordinate ways for our Unity spiritual community to give to those affected down in Southwest Florida. So during the week, I did a number of things researching it. I found some efforts that had already occurred. So by the time I was going to be here, or we were going to be here this morning, it already took place. There are some truckloads going down today, sponsored by the Rotary groups. And there was another group that during the week took 2 U-Haul trucks down, and things like that are happening all over. But I wanted to provide ways for us to be helpful in the situation. And I wanted to also pay attention to the nature of the charities. There's something called Charity Navigator, if you're not familiar with it, that kind of rates whether charities are good stewards of the money that we give them. So I looked at those. And so I have a mixture of things for you. The one is local in the sense of the YMCA. If you know where the YMCA is in Palm Harbor, 16th Street, behind the Palm Harbor University High School, they're collecting and we'll be coordinating with the Y Alliance all over the state. So we've brought in a few bankers boxes this morning labeled hurricane relief. If you want to bring things here, Dave or I or Joe or Sandy will help with getting them over to the Y, or better yet, just take them over there. I go there with not enough frequency, but to exercise, but we could always drop that off. Ellie swims, I go in the gym and pretend to be, you know.
TMI.
Okay, so that's the YMCA. And then Mercy Chefs was just mentioned by JM, and similar to them is World Central Kitchens that you may have seen in national media. I'm not sure I'll say his name right, Chef Jose Andres. They both basically do the same thing, and I think right now that feeding people who are out of a home is a good need right now to contribute to. I checked the Charity Navigator. Both of them are rated very highly, from 92 to the World Central Kitchens is 100. So you can't get better than that. So those are the ones we're suggesting. I'm sure that you may already have done something else, or you may have some others to mention. We'll be out in the lobby after and with the boxes, and bring what and any other ideas you have, we could always publish on the website. But you can give through the church, put on your check what you wanted. If it's just hurricane relief, then it'll be divided up among these charities. If you want one specifically, put that on your check, and that'll do it. Did I make any big mistakes?
No, dear. I'm the wing person.
If I deepen my voice, do you think I can grow any taller? A husband took his wife to a disco where there's a guy on the dance floor breakdancing, moonwalking, doing backflips, the whole works, just like John Travolta. The wife tells her husband, "See that guy? 25 years ago, he proposed to me, and I turned him down." The husband says, "Looks like he's still celebrating." There is an ambassador and usher meeting next Sunday after church. Looking for a place to serve? Be the face of Unity Palm Harbor. What better way to show your unconditional love than by welcoming people into our church home? Serve once a month on a rotating schedule. At our meeting, they will be reviewing safety procedures and other procedures to better serve our congregation. Please see Gloria Constanza for details. Yes, we still have a course in miracles on Wednesday morning and yoga on Thursday mornings. We also have a wonderful team that facilitates Wednesday evening meditations. Please check out our website, unityofpalmharbor.org, for dates and times. And notice that we now have a business exchange bulletin board by the office and feast shelves. Do you want to share what you do with your community? Put up a business card or a brief note so that we can support one another. Whatever your talent may be, landscaping, personal cookery, interior design, teaching a musical instrument, share it. When I watched The Scarecrow in The Wizard of Oz, I often wondered how someone could talk if they didn't have a brain. Then I got a Facebook account. Now I'm going to ask Tony Clyde. Oh, well, we're going to do our mission statement next. Sorry. If you'll join me. To advance well-being by sharing compassion and inclusiveness with integrity and spirituality. And now, Tony, if you'll come up and do the daily word for us.
Good morning. Thank you, JM, for being you. We really appreciate you. You're such a blessing, and thank you for raising our consciousness, here at Unity of Palm Harbor. You're just fantastic. We're really grateful to have you. I feel grateful to be here today, and today's daily word is world peace. The affirmation is peace creates beauty in the world. An artist creates beauty out of the spectrum of shades and hues, and the diversity of color adds to the depth of the artwork. In this same manner, the differences in the world show the possibility of splendor when combined in the right way. I love this. I envision a world in which all people are respected exactly as they are. It's beautiful. And I set an intention to practice and facilitate goodwill towards others, which I do. I behold the world around me and find examples of people and cultures blending and mixing in magnificent ways. The potential for peace, interaction, and coexistence are endless. Acts of kindness, honesty, and healthy communication paint pictures of harmony as I choose non-judgment and unconditional positive regard. I create peace in the world. And from Psalms 34:14, depart from evil and do good, seek peace and purpose. Namaste.
There's a new church on the horizon, made of light, not of stone, calling out to
Thank you for your beautiful music. And in keeping with that, as we go into meditation, thinking about one heart, we also recognize there is only one life. That life is the life of God. And that life is your life. It is my life. We all share the same heart, mind, and spirit. And as we do so, we have opportunities presented to us to have experiences, to share events, to share our life with each other in so many ways. As Patrick and Ellie said, sharing our good fortune that we were blessed. And we can share each of these things in many ways. Sometimes as we come across opportunities in our life, we feel like, oh, that's not the opportunity I wanted. But it's an opportunity to have an experience and to experience it in so many ways. Look at something in your life and see how perhaps it was an opportunity for you to realize something you needed to know, something you needed to learn. Maybe a lesson, maybe just a piece of information, but it was Spirit giving you that opportunity to be open, to be educated, to be informed. And at some point, you realize that was an important lesson for you. Or perhaps your opportunity was to be the teacher, to share your knowledge and wisdom to help someone else on their path. You were able to support someone. You were able to share your love, your caring, so that they felt that support. And you, as the teacher, the instructor, the guide, you were there because Spirit gave you that opportunity. And sometimes our opportunities are just to be an observer, to watch, to see what happens. Maybe sometime way in the future, you will use your experience, either as the teacher or as the student. But just observe what goes on around you, how you can help, how you can be a part of this one life. And as we take just a moment in the silence, remember, we are always teachers, students, and observers in the silence. And as we come back into this room, bring with you that consciousness of love, of life, the oneness that we share with each other. And as you go through your week, remember you are connected to everyone you see. And so if you see someone without a smile, give them one of yours as a gift from God. And so it is. Amen.
We started on this journey, our conviction each one a gift from grace. We can change our point of view, and gaze upon the beauty that is me, that is you. We see what we want to see and what we wish to be. It's just the way we dream it, the key to what we would believe is just to know that everything is possible when seen through the eyes of love. Now when we seem divided, we stand here feeling very small. That's when we find the courage to knock a hole out of this wall. We take time to find what's true. And now no other looks upon my soul the way you do. We see what we want to see and what we wish to be. It's just the way we dream it, the key to what we would believe is just to know that everything is possible when seen through the eyes of love. A simple man becomes a king, a child flies on silver wings, a woman now becomes a queen. Now none of us are what we seem. A simple man becomes a king, a child flies on silver wings. Anything is possible, it's just the way we dream it. A woman now becomes a queen, and none of us is what we see. Everything is possible when seen. Everything is possible when seen through the eyes of love. Through the eyes of love.
That was really beautiful. What an amazing team today. And if you didn't hear, as Marilyn just walked back to her seat, I heard whispers, she's amazing. So when you know someone is amazing, tell them. Tell them, we love you, we bless you, and we appreciate you. So just knowing what an amazing team today. Thank you. So we're working on the 4 agreements plus 1, just to make sure we have all of our little ducks in a row. And if you haven't bought these cards for your group or someone within the group, I'm inviting you to do so. So similar to last week, I looked through these cards and I thought, how am I going to start us off today? Ta-dum. I don't have to search for the truth. I am the truth. I don't have to search for perfection. I am perfection. I don't have to search for happiness. I am happiness wherever I am. Everything I need is already within me. Everything I need is already within me. How does that feel? Is it true? Does it feel staticky? Do you resonate with it? I said we are both creator and the creation as we bring our thoughts into action. We are both the creator and the creation. Have you heard the phrase, when the student is ready, the teacher will come? When the student is really ready, the teacher will disappear. So I have heard it said, when the student is ready, the teacher will come, but not as often have I heard, when the student is really ready, the teacher will disappear. Now, many people give that credit to Buddha. Sounds kind of Taoist, Buddhism. But the actual teachers and philosophers come from the late 1800s, and they were the Theosophists. Am I getting close? Where's my English teachers? Theosophists? Okay, it's the people who are talking about things. And interestingly enough, when you look at the history of this, we all know that Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, the co-founders of Unity, they were looking at many different religions. We know that Myrtle came from a fearful God place and a more conservative viewpoint. And Charles came from everything and nothing. So they examined what was going on in the world at the time, and specifically, Helena Petrovna Blavatsky. Look at this. I love this. People know what I'm talking about even before I do. In 1877, her writing, Isis Unveiled, she criticized science and religion of her day and asserted the mystical experience and doctrine were the means to attain true spiritual insight and authority. So what is she saying here? She's saying it's not enough to read information. As a matter of fact, she was really kind of anti-doctrination, and she wanted you to have an experience. She wanted you to experience your own soul's evolution. And in doing so, you might think of some other wonderful mystical teachers that came forward, such as philosophers like Plato. You know, we had Socrates, and Socrates' student was Plato, and Plato's theories of form says, ideas make our realities. Ideas make our realities. Now, what does that sound like in Unity? Thoughts in mind produce after its kind. Again, thoughts in mind produce after its kind. So there's all these different thoughts and theologies and mystical teachings, and yet none of them are really new. As a matter of fact, we're not really considered New Age, but New Thought. But we are not New Thought. We're going back to Plato and Socrates. And we're coming forward when we look in the 1800s of these people that were discovering the mystery within. And everything in Unity says start within first. That communion with God. No one outside of you can teach you that communion with God. We may have different practices. We may have different ways of encouraging you to be in the stillness and the quiet, but you have to do the work. And my work may not be what your work is. And we honor those many paths. Speaking of the one essence, the one trueness, the truth teachings. So as I was looking through some of this, one of my fascinations with Unity is the old world globe in the wings of Isis. So I'm going to give you a little history today. This is what Charles Fillmore said about the winged globe that he chose, and this was in direct correlation with this woman's work. Mr. Fillmore says it is the symbol of ascension in human consciousness. Imagine, what do the wings represent? Freedom, says our licensed unity teacher, of course. What else do the wings represent? Flight, the ascension. And we're not saying that this is a new form. We're saying it already exists out there, but these wings are your pathway into you recognizing your own higher ascension. So Mr. Fillmore now gives the following explanation. The winged globe or sun disk as a religious symbol had its earliest use in Egypt, but it is found in various forms in the religions of other races. It represents the relation existing between spirit, soul, and body. Soul gives wings to the body. Spirit is the principle, like the atmosphere in which body and soul exist, and from which they draw their inspiration. The winged globe is also a symbol of the earth and the soul. The earth has soul, as have its products of every description, and all exist either in the Divine Mother or, he says, in directive spirit. As man develops spiritual consciousness, he attains the realization of the souls as the wings of the body. And he says, for each and every one of us, as we study the teachings of unity, these become our wings. This is our flight path. This is our path to ascending in that which is already known. For there's not truly any new discoveries except our own inner work and moving to that next level. It's all out there in a constant form. It's just what we're tapping into. What message do we hear? You might recognize Galileo, one of our early teachers about cosmic thought. And he says, you cannot teach man anything. You can only help him find it within himself. True? Maybe true. I thought, in a very casual sort of way, maybe out in Colorado, kind of sounds like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So you can provide the text. You can provide the content. You can have gatherings like we do, but each and every one of us have to go within and see what is true for ourselves. So through Galileo's observations with the telescope, he discovered the world did not revolve around the earth. Do you think his fellow scientists agreed with him? No. As a matter of fact, the Pope called him up on that telephone that existed back then and said, you come on. And he put him under house arrest for the rest of his life. Talk about slow-moving consciousness. It's not always easy to hear something that you've never heard before. It doesn't mean it hasn't existed, but when it comes into your form, sometimes we have to dance the dance. Is this true for me or not? And then that becomes our truth. Something I have loved when I have visited Edwene Gaines in Mentone and her retreat center, we would do the fire walks. And in those fire walks, we would do a chant. Open your mind, see what you find, bring it on home to your people. The secret, open your mind. It's no one else who can do the work for you, but to open your own mind and ask within inside yourself, are the teachings that I'm learning about, the guest speakers, the music, is this true for me? Is this true for me? Now, unbeknownst to me, because I really dearly wanted to honor the absolute original minister who founded Unity of Palm Harbor, and he, and at the time his wife, wrote a book called Steps in Self-Knowledge. And so I'm going to bring you some wisdom from Reverend Randy, who's not here today. But when you see him, he usually sits towards the back, just give him a little extra love. We understand today he's a little challenged, and we just want to hold that sacred aura of healing and wholeness around him. And I want to share something that they wrote as students of truth. Dear friend in truth, it may well be that the steps in self-knowledge particularly carved out for you are not far away in some distant mountain range, in some mysterious place with some rare mystic teacher. It may well be that the steps in self-knowledge that have been awaiting your footsteps are close and familiar. The steps you need to take begin exactly where you are. They are mapped out in your own daily route between the usual and common places you travel to and from each day. They are steps in the rooms that you now inhabit, steps in the office or shop that you walk to every day. These very steps, taken with spiritual direction, are as full as any of sanctity. Every saint or sage of the past or present day has walked about his or her rooms, village or house or city, just as you now walk in your own places. You walk with the same rhythm and energy and pauses and longing. Start with the very next move you make to step with faith and power toward that same excellence these shining ones have reached. Hold the thoughts of wholeness, peace, abundance, wisdom, mastery, joy, and the path to your highest goals will unfold before you. We talk about having to have a faith in our own belief system. You know, there is a passage in the Bible that talks about the faith as tiniest of a mustard seed. But if you believe and call to that mountain that it shall be moved, it shall be moved because of your faith. Because of your faith, the power that you hold within you. You too are one of those shining ones. You too are a saint, a sage, a master in potential. The mountaintop, the monastery, the prayer garden are the places where you stand now. The atmosphere you breathe. In your heart of hearts, you know truth. You have within inside you everything you already need. He says you are indeed an anointed one. We are the very ones that we are waiting for. Go forth, he says, fresh from the baptism of that great idea to begin. And as you go consciously on this path, awake, alert, alive, the blessings of all lovers of truth everywhere in the cosmos goes with you. All of these friends in truth welcome you. You do not have to be hurried as you travel. Do you ever get to that place that you want to know the answers now? Take that pill, give me my enlightenment, let's go for it. And what is he saying? It just takes as long as it takes. There's no time in spirit. As you are making your own discoveries, as you are reawakening the truth that already resides in you, I have everything I need. Let's say it together. I have everything I need. We are already magnificent beings, the teacher and the student, and sometimes merely the observer. It is also our hope that you will begin a spiritual diary, a private textbook of some kind, wherein you will write down your own thoughts and experiences on the spiritual path. Let this be a record of the spiritual mastery you attain in your own self-knowledge. Above all, it is our hope that you will take with confidence and gladness and peace the numberless steps that it is for you to expand your blessed life experience. For as you attain the steps in your own self-knowledge, you gain the bliss of spiritual awareness, and you lead the world to God realization is no one else can. Have you ever noticed when you are allowing yourself to be vulnerable, when you are open and someone is observing you, you now give them permission to do the same thing. Maybe that's something that they've always wanted to do, and they've been really afraid that judgment would be cast upon that idea, or just them sharing from a heart space, open and vulnerable. I think we're doing some of that in our small groups. I'm hearing wonderful feedback of, you know what it takes in smaller groups to come back into the bigger groups and just to love with each other, supporting without judgment, recognizing our own path, our own soul's evolution as we move forward collectively and individually. And this would be my prayer for you. Hold true to whatever is stirring inside you. For Myrtle Fillmore would say that is a divine idea. So God-inspired, and that is why it's ruffling your feathers. You can't walk away from it. When you hear the call, like Shabnam did, it said, come be a prayer chaplain with us. You wasn't really sure what that meant. Let me tell you, when I got my call to be the minister, it's not quite what I thought it was. And we walk bravely, with great courage, opening our hearts for all of the experiences as the teacher, the student, and the observer. And for this, with deep gratitude, I say amen and amen.
If our ushers could come forward, we'll prepare to do our weekly collection. And we have a little prayer that we often say prior to making our offering. Today, as you make that little prayer with me, I want you to also think about the big red bus out there and the fact that your offerings of all that you have and all that you give are often more than just money. Okay? Keep that in mind as we recite this offering prayer together.
Divine love,
through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you.
Amen.
Some days I forget who I'm supposed to be, and yet there's a voice deep inside. Will I choose to listen, open to what's hidden in every heart, a spark so bright? I am the light, I am the love, I am the faith that never gives up. I hide in the dark, I stumble and fall. I'm a storm of doubt when hope is lost. An ocean in a tiny drop, that's who I am. Look in the mirror, could it be any clearer? I am more than I seem. Just a number I'm here to discover, called to be everything I can be. I am the light, I am the light, I am the love, I am the love, I am the faith that never gives up. I hide in the dark, I stumble and fall. I'm a storm of doubt when hope is lost. Ocean in a tiny drop, yeah, that's who I am. That's who I am. Yes, that's who I am. I am the light, I am the love, I am the faith that never gives up. I hide in the dark, I stumble and fall on a storm of doubt when hope is lost. I am the light, I am the love, I am the faith that never gives up. I am the dark, stumble and fall on a storm of doubt when hope is lost. Ocean in a tiny drop. Yes, that's who I am. That's who I am. Yes, that's who I am.
Before welcoming the kids in, I just want to say again what an honor it is for me to perform with such great musicians. Fantastic.
Thank you, Jim.
And now if we can have our kids join us, let's sing for them.
You are walking in the light, in the light, in the light. You are walking in the light, in the light of God. In the light, 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 in the light of God.
We're going to go right to our peace song now.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Beautiful.
So we're on tomorrow at 8:45.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I have a great idea for a song. Have you